You're listening to the Empowered Divorce Podcast, where you practice being the chooser in your life again, one day at a time. Thanks for joining me. Hello, my amazing listeners. How are you today, this afternoon, this evening? How are you feeling? Have you noticed your feelings today yet? It's funny, my Believing in You members know that I ask this at just about the beginning of every session that we have each week. And sometimes I'll even pull up the feelings wheel and have them choose a few. And it's funny because sometimes they'll say things like right before I get on this call, I know you're gonna ask me, Amie, how I feel, as if they're like scrambling to pay attention to their body and ask themselves, how am I feeling? Because I know Amy's gonna ask me, and it's hilarious. I do like asking this question, and I am genuinely interested, mostly because I want you to pay attention to yourself. I'll ask Jackson, my baby senior, can't believe he's graduating this year, my baby. I'll ask him this, and he's used to it by now. I'll ask, what 3 emotions are you feeling today? And as a joke, he'll say, happy, sad, and mad. And he knows this doesn't fly with me. If you don't know about the feelings wheel, feelingswheel.com, print it out, stick it on the fridge. I had one printed out on our dinner table when we first started doing this over a decade ago. Get the names of all of the emotions. Happy, sad, mad doesn't count. There are so many more emotions. They all have names. Your emotions would like to be called by their correct name. My name is spelled Amie. It's French, but the M always looks like 2 N's. So I got called Annie all the time. I still do every once in a while. Annie, or, okay, this is funny. Annie, or when I go to Starbucks, they yell out Arnie. That's a new one. Arnie was a new one. And it was hilarious because I'm totally going off on a tangent here, but it was funny because it's always been Annie. And so I'm waiting for my drink at Starbucks and I hear him go, Arnie. And of course, that's not me. So I'm just sitting there waiting and no one comes up to get it. No one comes up to get it. I'm waiting. And all of a sudden it dawns on me. I was like, oh my gosh. The M probably in that small, tiny print looks like an R and an N. So I got a new one. It's either Annie or Arnie. No one knows AMIE. Anyways, I would prefer to be called by my real name. So do our emotions. So when we are oftentimes just generalizing happy, sad, mad, print out the feelings wheel, pull it up on your phone, find the actual name of the emotion that you are feeling. It loosens it up a little bit more in your body. Emotions are energy, right? Energy shows up in your body in all different ways. Tight chest, lump in your throat, swirling in your stomach. The more you connect to this energy in your body, you can process it. This is feeling. Feeling is something that happens inside of us. Many of you are really good at thinking your feelings, but feeling your feelings in your body is a different experience. So when you've experienced trauma, you've had a disconnect from your body. Many of you might still be experiencing that disassociation, right? That disconnect from your body when the feelings, when the emotions, that energy becomes too intense. One way that we cope, one way that we protect from this idea that these feelings are going to overpower, override, overtake, and kill us is that we disconnect, disassociate. Healing from trauma, one of the things that we've got to work on is reconnecting to the body. And we do so by naming the emotions, finding the sensation in the body, and processing that, feeling it. Brain spotting really helps process these feelings that get stuck in the deep part of your brain, that subcortical part of the brain. We can talk about our feelings all day long. That is your prefrontal cortex. But subcortical, right, that deep processing, somatic processing is what we want to incorporate in our healing. We have to feel to heal. And one of the emotions that many of you have had, are feeling, or will feel is jealousy. Jealous of your ex. And I'd imagine most of you absolutely hate that feeling, hate when you notice that part come up. You probably don't even want to say it out loud or admit it to anyone, let alone yourself. So you're avoiding the hell out of that emotion. Let's face it. Who in their right mind wants to feel jealous of the one who betrayed, abused, and ruined their life? Right? And so, hello, jealousy. And that's what we're going to talk about today, and why this emotion comes up, how it might be showing up, and what we can do to process it, to move it through. And I'm sure many of you are going to be wanting to know exactly how to do that. But first, let's really validate why this emotion will show up. Jealousy really gets a bad rap, right? It's viewed as a negative emotion, like bad, wrong. We shouldn't be jealous. Can we just place all of those judgments aside right now for the duration of this episode, at least? Because I don't see it that way at all in the context of what we're talking about today. When you are jealous of your cheating, abusing ex, what the heck? It feels weird to even probably hear me say that out loud, let alone to recognize that this is probably something that you are experiencing or have. Jealousy really is a complex emotion because it signals a desire for something that someone else has, right? And what in the world could we possibly want that this other person who hurt has? It might feel very confusing if this part shows up, right? So whether that's the relationship that your ex has now with someone else, they are with someone and you're not, jealousy can come and creep up in those moments. Why do they get to be with someone? I'm alone. Why do they have companionship? I don't. How do they get to move on so fast? You can feel really jealous that they are not seemingly grieving and you are. Why are they not struggling to get out of bed and put one foot in front of the other? Why are they so, quote, happy when you are probably feeling miserable and sad and depressed and living in this absolute heartache? You can be jealous of their financial status. They are maybe buying kids all of this shit and you're struggling to make ends meet, or they're going on trips with this new person they're in a relationship with, or going on trips with the kids and taking kids to fun things that doing fun things that you don't have the money to do. And so you're just home working your ass off, trying to get by, still waiting for that child support check to come in. So that jealousy is going to kick in because they get to do all these things that maybe you even once did and had the ability to do. You no longer are able to do that right now. You might be jealous of their status and living conditions, jealousy that they're in a house, and maybe you're in a small apartment, jealous that they can move on so seemingly effortlessly. And as much as you perhaps maybe don't want this person back, you may want the ideal, the dream back, what you thought you had back, who you believed you married back. You just want all the hard to go away because you didn't cause this hard. And so, why is this hard for you and not them? Jealous. You might compare your own healing process or current life situation as unfavorable to your ex's, especially, like I said, when it looks like they're happier, freer, more successful. It can really magnify that you're alone. Might underneath jealousy can be loneliness. The kids might be seemingly having more fun with them over you. My ex got married really quick after the divorce, well, his first one. And she had a couple kids that were close to my boy's age. And so when they went over there, it was so painful and so jealous, jumped in to protect me from that pain. I was jealous that they got to be one big happy family. And I don't get that anymore, not because I chose it. They get to have two parents. They don't when they're with me. They get to be over here with me, the tired one, the strung out one, the one that's just trying to hold it all together. Hello, jealousy. Jealousy often involves a mix of emotions. You might notice jealousy is protecting or coupled with fear, grief, insecurity, envy, anger, sadness. It is a very natural emotion. When you notice jealousy come up, let that be a cue to assess your values, your desires, areas in your life, and parts of you that might be perceiving this deficiency or scarcity or a lack of something, insecurity. In the context of internal family systems, which is a therapeutic modality, parts work, love parts work, jealousy can be described as a manager part, and managers help keep you safe. Proactive managers help maintain control of situations to prevent hurt, pain, vulnerability. And so jealousy might be functioning as a manager. What might it be managing? Well, it might be trying to, or protecting. It might be trying to protect you from the pain of feeling less than, not good enough when your brain compares, when this part compares you to your ex. So it's going to signal areas where you might feel vulnerable or insecure. And if kids or others are seeing their life, then move on with their life, what might they be making that mean about you and your life and how you're doing life? I already felt less than and not good enough in so many ways due to the betrayal and the sexual addiction. So the comparing of his future partners for those few years after divorce was really a painful reminder to this insecurity part that I wasn't good enough. And so reinforced this false belief that I wasn't good enough. So jealousy was protecting me at the time. Jealousy for these partners was protecting me from the pain that I felt of not being good enough, being less than. This jealousy manager might be diverting attention away from your own vulnerabilities or areas that you might be feeling, even subconsciously, but feeling that you're lacking in some way. And so this manager part, this protector part, so to speak, it's maintaining a outward focus, right? Looking at all the things outside of you to avoid looking inward at some of the painful things and perhaps unmet needs, unhealed parts. I really hope this validates why you might be feeling jealous. And I really hope that any shame that you might have felt when you notice that you're jealous, I hope it eases it up a little bit. So I want to just talk about how you can move jealousy out in a very loving way, more compassionate way, because remember, you're never going to hate yourself into change. So underneath jealousy, most often, is grief. It's loss. You have had a lot of loss of the relationship, your reality of what you thought the relationship was, your home, perhaps, things in your home, stability, financial freedom, friends, family, companionship, activities, trips, dreams, loss of opportunities, time, all of these things that you planned for your future. There is so much loss involved. Jealousy might be protecting you from feeling some of these losses. And like I said in the beginning, feeling emotions in your body is not the same as thinking your emotions. So if you feel stuck here, like, well, I've been trying to feel my feelings and that just keeps coming up and I don't know what's going on. I feel like you're looping or just stuck in this, then come and do some brain spotting with me. We have to release some of these underlining feelings and emotions and process because jealousy might be showing up because we're not really processing what's underneath. We have to process grief. Remember, grief comes in stages. It's not linear. It's going to come and go, ebb and flow. The next thing that you might want to look at if you're finding yourself jealous and you don't want to be is leaning into radical acceptance. I will be talking, I think I have an episode coming out around this fairly soon. So I'll talk more about what radical acceptance really is. But acceptance is another key to releasing jealousy. Accepting things as they really are, not how you believe things should be, or were supposed to be, or shouldn't be, but as they currently are. Accepting that I was going to have to be working the rest of my life, inside and outside of the home, that I'd be raising kids parallel, not co-parenting, because we didn't share the same values and lifestyle. Accepting that I was going to have to get help from others and rely on others so that I wasn't completely alone in this. Accepting that I needed help. Accepting that my children might have other women come in and out of their life. Accepting that my kids are going to have feelings about all of this as well. And if that doesn't bring out the emotion of anger, wait for it, it will come, which is the next way that we can process jealousy. Underneath jealousy or coupled with jealousy is usually anger. Feel it, move it, release it in healthy ways. Going to a rage room, punching bags, screaming into pillows, angry runs, throwing eggs at trees, releasing this anger. Anger is an action emotion. And so getting your body involved with the release of that, pushing, I have my clients do this in sessions. I'll have them push up against a wall and I'll say, push that wall into the next room and just push against a wall. Get your body involved when you are feeling anger because it's a very movement emotion. You need to get your body involved in that. Get it out, move it through. It's not bad. It's not wrong. Go back and listen to my episodes with Kim Day on anger. It is validating what has been done wrong. It's validating violations, boundary violations. So if jealousy is coming, take a good look at what anger might be telling you about this. I was so angry that he could just move on and disregard 18 years of a relationship. I was so angry that he could just walk away, never working or trying to do any of the things, just the 4 things that I was asking. Angry that he could just disregard the children that way. Angry, so angry. Validate it. It's real. It's important. So yeah, when he got remarried, jealous that he could just so easily move away and move on from something I worked so tirelessly and valued so deeply that he could just disregard that. Next, stop thinking about your ex's life so much. You know who you are. You know who you are. All of you who might still be following them, tracking them, monitoring them on social media, on other apps that you might still have that they haven't realized that you still have, finding information out about them, whether that's through your children, through family, friends, stalking the new woman of the week, asking kids about their life, trying to get all of the gossip. This is not helpful. I wanted this so badly I wanted to dig this up. And look, this is normal. So zero judgment here. This is actually part of the reality of fragmentation healing. Like your brain is still trying to figure out what the hell went wrong. And so hyper focusing on their life and what they're doing and why is part of also trying to figure out what happened to yours, to your life. But it's really not helping in the way that this part of you thinks it is. So let go of trying to figure out and be informed and know all of the things about his life. How often are you finding yourself thinking about him and his life and what he's thinking even, right? When you get a text, oh my gosh, I'd be like, what? Why would he send that? What is he thinking? Da, 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 da. I'm trying to figure it out. Your brain naturally, because of betrayal trauma and reality fragmentation, is trying to figure him out and things out. It's still trying to put some of these pieces of the puzzle together. It makes sense and it's not helping. You've got to turn towards you to be the one to put some of those pieces together, not them. Comparing your life to theirs is also not helping. Comparing how kids feel about them versus you is not helping. Jealousy will jump in to buffer the pain of all of that. And most of that is all false beliefs, limiting beliefs. Most of it isn't even true. Practice rerouting your brain when you find yourself focusing on their side of the street. Practice rerouting it and coming back over to your side of the street. Reroute back towards you. Focusing on you and becoming more self-aware of your today, your now. This is how you create your tomorrow. The last thing I want to mention on how to loosen up, let go, release jealousy, and hello, November, is gratitude. Yes, freaking gratitude. Come on, let's try it. Let's try it together. It's a great month to try. Naming one thing a day that you are grateful for. And look, I don't care if you're grateful for laundry soap because that is where I literally had to start. I am just grateful for laundry soap. Grateful that I have 5 fingers so I can use one of them to flip him off. Like whatever you want to start with, be grateful It is a wonderful antidote to jealousy. It really is. It shifts the focus from what you are lacking or your perceived lack of to what you really do and already have. It's that abundance from scarcity. It builds resilience. When you experience trauma, but any form, but betrayal trauma, resiliency, building that resiliency is absolute key to healing. And so you're connecting back towards yourself. You are becoming more present with yourself and your higher power. Gratitude helps facilitate this. So start with just one thing a day. If you want to go out and get a gratitude journal to help make this a little bit more enjoyable, or I have actually a lot of clients that don't like journaling. They'll just do on their notes section of their phone, they just open up a page of gratitude and they'll just speak. And there actually is something really cool of saying it out loud. You're accessing more of your senses, the vibration of your throat out the mouth, and then you hear yourself say that. It can stick a little bit more, so to speak, when you do that. So that's another great way to vocalize, to acknowledge gratitude. I love this quote by Melody Beattie. She says, gratitude turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. It makes sense of our past. It brings peace to today, and it creates a vision for tomorrow. And you have everything inside of you to create the life that you want today and tomorrow, because you absolutely can. Take care, everybody. Connecting back towards you and creating healthy intimacy with yourself first is one of the ways that we can heal from betrayal, trauma, abuse, and divorce. And personally, I had no idea that there were 7 different levels of intimacy, 7 different levels of ways in which we can connect to ourselves and to a partner. When you've experienced unhealthy and destructive behaviors in a relationship, it can be confusing to know what healthy even looks like. I know for me, that kept me from wanting to date, wanting to get in another relationship, because I didn't want to go through hell again. So one of the things that I needed to do was learn how to connect back towards me and create healthy within me first. And I have a couple programs that will help you do this. First, Intimacy Within is a self-paced program where I walk through each of those 7 different levels of intimacy. You get a printable workbook. There are things that you can do around each level that you can practice to help connect back towards you. I also created the Dating Within workshop, and the next one starts January 23rd. This is for those who want to start dating themselves, connect back to themselves. It's a deeper dive into this self-awareness and self-reflection and self-healing so that you are prepared to start dating again when you are ready. Either way, go to the show notes or amiewoolsey.com to see which one you are ready for and how I can support you in your healing back towards yourself. Take care, everybody.